What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action spawning in the bottom of the map in the blue color, playing as Zeus. His name is 4rco. His opponent today in the red color, playing as Poseidon. His name is Revan. This is the qualifying round of the Champions League tournament. Or qualifying stage. It is the best round of 64, I should say. And the winner of this will be able to participate in the Challengers League. The loser, unfortunately, will be left in the dust. But this is possibly one of the... thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs. Yet again, Kara. 22 today. You're wild. This is one of the more exciting... Well, I say they're all exciting, but this is one of the more closely matched games in the qualifiers. This is a 32 seed versus a 33 seed in this. So technically, these are the closest matched game that we're going to see for this round. So hopefully, it produces a really fun series. We do see Poseidon versus Zeus, so a bit of an interesting matchup here. Lots to learn about this one, and lots to kind of basically. There's lots of stuff you have to avoid playing in this matchup as the Poseidon player, and there's lots of stuff you have to ensure happens from the Greek side of things here. Now, there's 2 ways to play this one. If town centers are forward, then Zeus can go for an Athena rush with... Not an Athena rush, Athena Hippocon. Not an Athena rush, Athena Hippocon. So if the town centers are forward, you go Athena Hippocon and you can deny or force ceasefire out of a 5-second town center. And then after that, because so much chaos is happening or whatever, the Zeus player can continue to put pressure on and hit a restoration attack underneath that town center, cause a lot of problems for the Poseidon player. Now, if the town centers are back, then that starts becoming a lot harder to actually execute. The town center starts coming up a lot easier for the Poseidon player, and you have to go in with the Centaur strategy or go in with your own Zeus boom against the Poseidon boom. So we'll have to wait and see what these guys are gonna actually execute here. I would be surprised to see anything other than Centaur on this map, given the town centers are both forward here. Both back here. But you never know. There's lots of hunt on this map. In the middle of the map here, Revan's spotted his giraffe over here, and he's going to have to work this all out moving forward. There's the Katoskopos just hanging out over here. Got to get that one scouting. Got to see what's happening on the map. Relics have been uncovered as well. We've got the Cathara of Apollo. Plus 10% villager movement speed. There's another relic that has been covered over here. The Kopesh of Horus, a huge relic for the Poseidon player here to be picking up. So, I think we talked a little bit about what Zeus has to do, but what does Poseidon have to do? So, you have to recognize as Poseidon if your opponent is going for Centaur or is going for Athena Hippocon. There is also a possibility that you might face an Athena rush here, which again is another completely different strategy that you have to deal with. But basically what you want to do with your Katoskopos is find where the temple is and make sure you're scouting that temple at around about 4 minutes into the game, because that's when you're going to know what your opponent is going for. We see Hermes coming through. So we see the scout coming in maybe a little bit too early. There's no villagers on this temple at this point. So that you might think that your opponent is not going to be going for Hermes here. It might be going for Athena. It might be going for Athena Hippocon or a 5-second town center. It does kind of look like 4rco here. He's not going for centaurs. That's what it looks like to me. The other thing you can do is try and scout the gold mine and see what's happening there. If you see more than 1 or 2 villagers on gold, you know that it's not going to be it will be centaur. Wait, no, it will be a town center. If you see 5 villagers on gold, it'll be a town center. If you see less than that, it could be Hippocon or it could be centaur at this stage of the game. So then you have to make some decisions based off that. You go for a town center or not. This one here, it looks like Revan is making the right decision here, the right call to try and go for a town center. He's got his 5 villagers on gold, 6 villagers on gold. He's advancing through Hermes here. And it all makes perfect sense. Katoskopos does end up getting sniped down there as the Theseus moving forward to grab this relic. A significant advantage in advance time here from 4rco. Went for a 445 here as he's going to be grabbing his town center. We do see the Centaur going to be moving across the map, as well as Katoskopos coming back over here. And Revan's going to be sitting here with his Thesis. This one might get bolted here so that this Centaur can get some value as the Theseus runs straight past the Centaur. And the Centaur says, I'm running away. I don't want to be using this just yet. Unfortunate shot there onto the giraffe. No, attack it. It was coming back. Oh, no. Unfortunately, the giraffe was shot back, but if the giraffe hits its max range, it'll always walk back to its starting position. As the Centaur still moving around, we see the town center just about to come up. Still just one villager on the temple here for 4rco. He's going to be getting himself out. Odysseus and Jason, the scout here for Revan, searching around. What has he seen? Has he seen the town center? He doesn't know the town center is coming up, but he should be able to work it out based on the score there. As Revan now getting his own town center. It's going to be 2 town centers apiece. Back town centers on Savannah, meaning a very, very boomy game is afoot here. As both players going to have to work out how to make this all work. Centaur here for 4rco. Still not going to be able to get all too much damage done as the Odysseus and the Jason moving forward to put some pressure on over here. Maybe these villagers just need to move back home. There is all of this hunt over on this position as well for these villagers to grab. So there's not really a whole lot of reason to just sit here. And Revan, unfortunately, there loses his Centaur for a very, very low, very, very minimal value. And not only that, this villager over here might get taken out as well. So Revan having some difficulties here in the early game against 4rco as 4rco manages to take that villager out. But given all of the things that have happened, there's still a Rhino in the main base here for Revan. He's down quite a lot of villagers here. This is all because 4rco advanced faster than Revan here in this game. He managed to get the town center up first, managed to get those villagers out cleanly here. He could potentially grab this hunt. I'm not sure. Does 4rco know about it? 4rco doesn't know that there's hunt there. That's really, really unfortunate for him. Unfortunately, does he know that there's hunt over here, though, is the big question. Oops, that's the wrong guy. He does know there's hunt here, so he knows that there has to be a pack of zebra somewhere, and he's found it here. So we'll see if that's going to be enough of a inkling there to move over and grab that spot or not. Sometimes you kind of forget that you can still scout after the archaic age, but is what it is. We're all just starting to get this boom going. Walls coming up everywhere. There's still no military buildings down here for Revan. Revan playing this one very, very greedily. What else has he got here? He's got himself hand axe. He's getting himself the stables back over here. 4rco, on the other hand, he's got himself hand axe and pickaxe and husbandry. So Revan's catching up on those upgrades now. The villagers have found this hunt over here now. So moving on to that. Farms getting placed down on this position as well. We do see this is the shift click thing. This is something that a lot of players are still doing, and the more I need to keep on bringing this up because this is a real big noob trap. This is something that even top players do. Is you shift click all your farms. You don't want to do that. You want to build one farm, and then once you shift click your farms, you right click on the farm, and then all your villagers will move individually over to seed one farm. It's the fastest way to do it. It is the least APM intensive way to build farms. It's not the best way to build farms. Building farms one by one is the best way to build farms. It's still faster than the shift click method, but it is a really, really nice way to make it all work nonetheless. If you don't have the APM to do it otherwise. As you can see, this is kind of what Revan's doing nicely over here. He's still got plenty of food over here. He's still got the food in the main base. Still has the goats. Doesn't need to throw those farms down just yet. Starting to float wood as well. Something I've been talking about just a little bit recently is the farm transition is not something you necessarily need to do gradually. You can actually bank wood with the intention of that wood being spent on farms and just have all your villagers finish up on the goats and on all the hunt. And then once all that's gone, you can build your farms. That's got to be the better way of doing it, in my opinion. Rather than doing like slight farms here, whole bunch of farms here with the villagers still being able to eat food over here. Doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to do it otherwise. As we do see the bolt getting dropped down onto the Hippolyta here as Starco trying to put some pressure on the Hippocon. Jason, oh not Jason, Hippocon Theseus of Revan have to retreat back and have to rebuild that Hippolyta over here. Dan Viper says, did you know that YouTube thinks your videos are for the game Hades because you have Hades in the title? I hope that's the case. Why not? Look at the wall setup from Starco. He's really utilizing the map control, the inherent map control that comes from playing Zeus in this matchup to set these walls up. This is something that I think Zeus players in general could learn quite a bit from. When you're playing against Poseidon and even going Centaurs, you can get these walls down as well while applying all the pressure. You can completely take map control and make sure all your villages are really safe, which means that when these raids start coming, there's only really one way that they can go. And you can see that's what's happening here is Revan takes some damage moving in. It's a really nice play here from St4rco to be on top of that. And not only that, St4rco is also going up through Apollo here as the units coming through. St4rco casting Ceasefire here. This is not exactly what he needed to do. There's really not that many units. He could have just brought his villagers in to start shanking. Could have brought those villagers in to start shanking the Hippocon. There's not that many there. You've got what, one Hippocon, one Jason, one Odysseus versus these two. You got your villagers here, would have been able to take these out. But he wants to get some hoplites out to start being able to deal with those Hippocon. But in the end here, if you're playing against Poseidon, Ceasefire, not really that big of a deal to blow because Poseidon doesn't really have any of those timings that you want to deal with. Doesn't have an underworld. In a back town center situation, Earthquake's not going to be that big of a deal. So you're basically expecting to see maybe Curse being a slight problem, but you should be fine. Just retreat. And Hephaestus coming through on this map. So burning Ceasefire here is not that big of a deal. Now, St4rco does have himself a Polit, so we'll see what he's going to be doing. Walls coming up over here. More Hippocon coming through. But with the Manticore out, more hoplites being able to be built by St4rco as well. I don't think that these Hippocon are going to be able to do all too much damage. We do have the Pegasus over here for Revan, checking out this town center and making sure that nothing's happening here. St4rco here, he might be deciding to do some sort of crazy Hera timing push here. Hera plus Underworld off of 2 town centers. We'll have to wait and see if it's going to be working for him or not. He's currently sitting at 100 of 100 population. Revan's at 125 or 125 population with a villager lead here. And St4rco's villager getting taken out. We'll see how everything ends up going. We'll also see some Prodromus coming through. I really like this play from St4rco here. This is something that I definitely think you can take you can learn from. Is that the idea is that if you stay classical age and you go full send into one unit type as Greek in the Greek mirror, a real easy way to counter that is to stop building units, stop fighting, go next age and build the counter unit. Because one counter cavalry here deals with several Hippocons. He does so much damage to the Hippocons. And you can just really fight really nicely. As you see some micro here from Revan trying to push through here. Not sure he's going to quite be able to do that. This is medium hoplites. Plus we've got the Manticore out here. The Theseus chasing this down. Got to get some units over here to deal with that. Theseus to allow those Manticore to start getting some good damage done. We do see the Apollo getting taken out. We've got the Theseus just about to fall here as medium Hippocon comes through for Revan. St4rco though, he's got the hoplites, he's got the Manticore. And Revan has to retreat away. Nice hold there from St4rco. Good prioritization of the heroes there, allowing his Manticore to function in that fight at super value. And now Revan has to go back to the drawing board. He's starting to put the walls up. Needs to start getting his maps sorted so he can start the trade route. We've also got a market up in the corner already for St4rco. One of the small things that players don't quite understand at maybe to the highest of levels is that a market is also a town center in terms of economic production. So if you're sitting on 2 town centers and you have a market versus your opponent sitting on 3 town centers and doesn't have a market, you're actually equal on villager production. Sure, you're behind on population slightly, but you're equal on villager production. So you can always kind of take a little bit of that as an idea to like equalize on your villager deficits and things like that. As the Hippocon do get pushed back, this wall is going to immediately get planted back in onto this position over here. As look at the Hippocon just dealing so much damage here. st4rco's playing this one really nicely. He's going to start putting pressure onto the gold mines over here. Gold mines are really kind of spread out across the map here for Revan. He's got quite a few of them, so pushing off one isn't going to be that big of a deal. Revan's now being able to click up through Aphrodite. He's at 145 or 145 population. He's got Toxotes out. He's got Hippocon out. He doesn't have his heroes out at this point, which is a little bit of a difficult thing to now deal with because those Manticores are out and they're going to be able to shred the Toxotes. And here's one thing that I love from the side of st4rco. No Toxotes. Why no Toxotes? Why a Manticore a fantastic idea, but Toxotes a bad idea? Well, it's because in the end of this game, you're going to be wanting to have Heliopoli as your archer unit. And if you invest in Toxotes, you invest 300 resources for medium Toxotes, you invest 600 resources for heavy Toxotes, you then invest 900 resources for champion Toxotes, and then you just stop building Toxotes because Heliopoli come out, that can be a really difficult thing to overcome. So by countering the Toxotes, by just making a handful of Manticore here, which don't need any upgrades to function really, really well, this is a really nice play here, as we do see that Revan, though, he's kind of caught out of position. Underworld Passage coming through to push back, forcing these units out, and now Revan can start putting pressure onto this town center, trying to force some sort of a ceasefire here. Will it work out or not? As medium hoplite, or heavy hoplites, I should say, comes through. Now the army going to be taking this fight here. Unfortunately, these Manticore are not going to have their special ability because they pop through the Underworld Passage. So he has to wait like the 20 seconds for that to recover. As the army going to be retreating back. Revan's still holding strong on his ceasefire. Doesn't need to cast that just yet, but Hephaestus will hit first here for Revan. And he has left his Underworld Passage over here. Do we have fortified town centers coming through? It looks like not just yet. The army's moving back and forth on this position. There is a Mimian line coming through. That's immediately going to be getting sniped down here. Curse does get used on this position. The Manticore going to be retreating back ever so slightly. st4rco trying to get in to utilize his special ability on those Toxotes. He does manage to do so. Huge amount of damage, splash damage onto the Toxotes there. But the Hippocon come through, snipe down the Manticores over here with the help of that curse. st4rco probably should have retreated away, but now we've got Forge of Olympus, coinage, fortified town centers. If we take a look at this fortress, we might start seeing st4rco start building those Heliopolites straight away here, which would be a really good idea. Colossus pops through this location, going to be going after the town center as well. Hephaestus is on the way for Revan, but it is a solid minute and a half behind st4rco, who's going to be having a he's going to be enjoying that advantage of being 10 villages in front from having Plenty Vault, at least in terms of like a minute of that production there, which is a lot of resources, and it's about 600 resources, or like probably 900 resources-ish extra that you get over your opponent. As the hoplites pushing through to take down the town center, Revan clicks ceasefire, and now we move into that next stage of the game. Champion infantry coming through, copper weapons, copper mail, copper shields coming through, and Revan's got to catch up on this armor before he really decides that he wants to fight. Otherwise, full advantage for st4rco here. st4rco is in a really, really good position. Let's see if Revan can work this one out and survive here, as we do see some villagers moving forward, looking to get onto this gold mine. Already a fortress over there. Still more of those Heliopoli getting trained out here. Plenty of units coming through. Champion infantry is in. Look at that army here. Champion infantry hoplite, Heliopoli. This is the late game Zeus dream composition. We'll see how it's going to go, as the Mythic Age does come through for Revan here. st4rco is getting himself flood control, bowsaw, copper shield still coming in. A little bit delayed on those next armory upgrades, which is a little bit unfortunate for him. Forge of Olympus now gets clicked up for Revan. Has he thrown his Plenty Vault down? Every second he doesn't throw the Plenty Vault down is lots of lost resources. Yeah, no Plenty Vault just yet. I'm not sure what Revan's holding on to here. As st4rco now has his Heliopoli here. The hoplite's going to be able to come through here. Toxotes unfortunately targeting, he's targeting down the hoplites. The hoplites ignoring everything here, going after the town center. Definitely should be on those Toxotes. He does turn around onto that one there as the town center is getting closer and closer to falling. Those Toxotes get absolutely overrun by those champion hoplites with the armor advantage. Town center falls. Heliopolite doing tons of damage here as well. At this point, there's no heroes in to deal with the myth unit of Revan, the Colossus of Revan. So that's going to be getting a lot of good damage done. Though, that being said, hoplites are actually not a bad idea to take out a Colossus with because they deal hack damage and the Colossus has only got 50% hack armor. And while this is happening now, finally we see the counter units coming through for Revan. He's starting to make those Hypaspis, which basically means now St4rco needs to move into his own Hypaspis here. Hypaspis versus Hypaspis plus the Heliopolite. We do see some archery ranges, which I don't think are necessary here. Lots of resources have already been invested into the hoplites. So all he needs is some counter infantry to deal with the counter infantry, basically. As the other thing here that St4rco might want to consider is to push in and start putting some stuff in onto this position, some towers or something. But it looks like Revan here, he's holding because these siege towers are not, or Heliopolis, are not pushing in to deal with those Toxotes. You need to have the Heliopolite over here to deal with this, as the town center is going to be coming back up and St4rco is going to have to retreat back here at this time. So now the Heliopolis retreating back into this underworld passage. Now the Bellerophon popping back in over here. We've got Heliopolite coming through as well. We've got the Heliopolis. Oh, he kind of wastes that. Whole bunch of militia coming in to take down this this big siege unit for free. Big mistakes here. Now Revan has managed to kind of solidify his position. All of that advantage which St4rco gained from getting those armory upgrades in, everything else, it's kind of gone down the toilet here. And Revan, he just needs to sit back, catch back up, and then he's going to be able to utilize the advantage of having Aphrodite, divine blood villages, which build really fast, have access to the militia popping out of his military buildings all over, which are really hard to deal with. And then he's slowly going to be able to chip back into this lead that St4rco has kind of grabbed itself. And as the champion hoplites pushing through here, doing everything that they possibly can. Toxotes doing everything that they can as well, but 160 population apiece. The thing is, though, that St4rco has got 15 donkey caravans. That's a lot. That's a lot of bonus economy that St4rco's got. But will he be able to spend it? All that extra economy is the big question, because having more economy is one thing, but if you're sitting at full population, your opponent's at full population, that's when things start mattering. But it does look like the units still here for St4rco are still a lot stronger than the Revan units at this point, having full iron here, except for iron shields. But iron shields, I'm sure, will come through very shortly here for St4rco, but basically full upgrades here for St4rco's army, still in a really, really strong position. I'd love to see St4rco trying to come in onto this corner here and secure this corner away from Revan, so Revan can't start an efficient trade route at any point. As the Toxotes do manage to take out the Heliopolis there, but we'll see how it's all going to go. Toxotes slowly moving forward here. Here's the other thing that's going on. Because Revan is kind of far behind in a way, he hasn't got his fortresses up, so he's not getting his own Heliopolite out in this game. What are you guys talking about? I'll deal with you later. All right. Here's the other thing. This is the other advantage that Poseidon has in the late game over Zeus. So Bellerophon is a nasty hero, really, really strong. However, in the Greek mirror, there aren't a whole lot of annoying Bellerophon tricks you can really use to get an advantage. Bellerophon tends to die when he dives in onto the Toxotes very fast. He tends to die really quickly in the fights. So you don't see the Bellerophon getting max value like sometimes you see Bellerophon getting against, say, Atlantean or against Egyptian or against Norse. In the Greek mirror, it's not that good. But this big bad boy here, Polyphemus, he is a tank. He costs 400 gold, 6 favor, but he's got 700 HP. He's such a huge unit to have. And not only that, it's another siege unit for him to push through military buildings for. So strong. So we'll see if that's going to be something that 4rco can overcome as well. As now we're starting to see 4rco pushing forward with some towers into this corner here. I like the sentry tower, but just push forward and get some walls down here as well. Good idea. Here's a problem that Revan might be running into fairly soon. He does have the trade route. Where is it going from? Where is his market at? I don't see a market anywhere. They're coming from over this way. We could go into that town. Oh, there's the market. So it's it's actually not that bad of a trade route. It's not obviously not as good as 4rco's, but Revan is about to be out of gold. He's got this gold mine at the right corner of the map with plenty of gold here. And if 4rco is paying attention here, seeing those villagers moving up to the top side of the map here, he will be able to start putting pressure over there. As these Heliopolites starting to roll forward, figuring out if they can get some value. And we see the Hippolyta coming out, walls coming down over on this position. Love that here from 4rco. And look at the resources here for 4rco. He's spending everything that he's got. He's got fully upgraded villages most likely. He's just missing carpenters, the wood upgrade. But fully upgraded villages. He's got a trade route. He's got all the upgrades here. We do see that sort of the same thing here for Revan. Look at those villages. They are speedy at 4.18 speed because of that up relic. He doesn't have himself Divine Blood, but if he gets Divine Blood, they're going to be even faster. As some units moving up to the top side of the map, spamming buildings all over the place, and we start seeing this game starting to move into that kind of late game building spam fest, walls going up everywhere, trying to control different parts of the map. As this wall gets broken down, units starting to move through here to take out the villages that are mining the gold mine here. As the hoplites, we're getting some good damage done over here. Potentially going to snipe out a villager or two. You need to send more stuff in here to actually stop this gold incoming. Revan now finally managed to get himself Iron Mail, Iron Shield. Oh, sorry, Iron Mail, Iron Weapons. He's already got Iron Shield, so he's about to be 100% caught up on the armor here. And Revan, he has, or 4rco, he has found some advantages here. He has found some advantages from getting these upgrades out a little bit earlier, but he needs to kind of solidify this position and convert them into a real tangible advantage that he can push for the late game. And I think that this has got to be it. This corner push over here, prevent that fortress from going up, start attacking this town center, grab this position here. Petropoli using that forest would be a really, really good idea. Meanwhile, continuing to put pressure onto these villages is huge. That is another option there. Secrets of the Titans coming through here for 4rco, given that he's got the economic advantage with the better trade route and the better trading of units in general, having the better armor, able to afford to do all of this stuff while going for the Titan. Really, really smart play here. As we see the walls coming up, he's sharing Revan's walls here. It's kind of funny. As the fortress comes out, we see the Toxotes coming through. They might be able to stop this fortress with just the 4 of them. Nice play there. As more hoplites coming back in, we see the Bellerophon coming in to snipe villages down. This is one of the big advantages of Bellerophon, though, that, say, Polyphemus can't do, is raiding villages. Because if you utilize the special ability of Bellerophon, it does, is it 100 damage or 200? 100 hack damage. Villages have only got 65 HP and 25% hack armor. That means that they get one hit. One hit from the Bellerophon jump. So a really, really good unit to be raiding with, though it does cost 4 population, so it's a big investment. And a big investment of APM as well. But the villagers get pushed off of that location there, and Revan, he's got 14 trade caravans. Not a bad number, but how much gold is he getting? He's only getting 44 gold a trip. And now we see the fortress here, 75 HP remaining. Tight. Oh! 4rco doesn't care. 4rco says, wonder end Titan Gate here. This is max flex. It's like, Revan, you got no resources, bro. You got no resources. And Revan says, you're right. I got no resources. I'm tapping out. That was max BM there. Wonder and Titan Gate going down at the same time from 4rco. Really, really nicely executed Zeus versus Poseidon. 2-town center play. Not going for those centaur that you normally see, and instead trying to find advantages elsewhere in this game. And he really did. I loved the idea of not really building all too much stuff in the classical age, getting to that heroic age, being able to mix in some prodromus with the cavalry to deal with the mass cavalry, going for those hoplites. That underworld was huge. He kind of misplayed it a little bit by pushing in here with his hoplites to target down those Toxotes in this mini range here. Like, hoplites beat Toxotes if they're on top of each other. If the Toxotes are separate and they start being able to shoot and you can't get your hoplites in to actually kill them, the Toxotes win hard. So you do have to make sure if you're trying to win hoplite versus Toxote that your hoplites can actually get in and surround those Toxotes to some degree. And I think that 4rco probably could have just retreated back and then put more pressure onto this town center, staying in this position to secure this and possibly win with that push. But it was a nice try here from Revan to come back. He almost brought this game back from the brink, but just could not manage to make it work. 4rco gets the dub. If you guys enjoyed this game, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next game.